Hello, Hamish Conway here from Sell Global, and with me is Sebastian Hargraves, the head of advertising at Sell Global. And this is TACOS Tuesday, the place for Amazon ads tactics and strategies to help you grow your sales on Amazon and enjoy selling on the channel. Anyway, so today we're up to episode 11, and the topic today is around how to increase conversion rates for improved ad performance. Now, we've talked in previous episodes around some of the essentials with Amazon. But look, the thing that can really move the needle, you could be doing a lot of things well, but if your on-page conversion rates are poor, then you're making life really hard for yourself. So this is really thinking about, okay, for every 100 unique visitors you get to a product listing, how many of those are converting into purchasing? Now, Amazon has a high buyer intent, and so this will be higher than a Shopify store, etc. But what we're going to go through today is we've got 4 key buckets of that will improve your conversion rates. So we're going to work through these, and you want to get a pen out for this, or at least kind of might need to go deeper on the show notes, because actually quite a few parts to this when you actually start to break it down. But it's so important, and any one of these things can just make a huge difference. But when you do multiple of these things that we're going to share, the compound effect can make a huge difference to your conversion rates. And we've got clients that have doubled their conversion rates, and that just makes a massive difference to the advertising effectiveness, or like going from 3 to 6.5 or from 17 to 24. Like, those sort of improvements are meaningful, and they can happen quite quickly as well. Now, before we dive into these details, I do just want to quickly share with you about some events that are coming up. And in Sydney on the 31st of October, Amazon Ads is having their first Australian summit, and the menu, the agenda for that is fantastic. There's some really, there's some heavy hitters coming to that. Sell Global is going to be exhibiting at it, so it's going to be a 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., 2 p.m. on Thursday the 31st. So go to events biz 63. We'll put it in the show notes. It's a bit of a weird one that they don't actually have a easier URL than that. But if you're in Sydney on the 31st, make sure you get to, it's the Hyatt there. So that's the first thing. Then if you're an Amazon vendor seller in Australia, on Thursday, the 24th of October in Melbourne, there we'll be having an Amazon vendor mastermind meetup. Now, there's already less than 10 places left for that, and by the time this comes out, you want to move quickly on that. And in Sydney on Wednesday, the 30th of October, the day before the Amazon Ads event, so you might want to be in town for both of those. So to register for those, go to the homepage of gosellglobal.com, scroll down a little bit, and you'll see the Melbourne and Sydney events there. So I just want to bring that to your attention. All right, Seb, let's get into all things around conversion rates on page for Amazon. Now, we've got 4 buckets, as we said, and one of this is not one of the buckets, but it's just a note I had here. Like, one of the key themes that you want to have is, because we're not talking about click-through rate here, right? That's for another episode. But when people do see that hero shot and a bit of the title and the price and some factors there, and they'll be making up an opinion about what they see from that hero shot, they're going to click on that and come through to the page. And so the first thing is to have consistency, right? And this is, this happens if you're advertising on Google or Meta or wherever, but what the ad people click on, you want them to land in a place there that is congruent or consistent with what they just clicked on. So I just want to nail that point home, which is relatively easy to do on Amazon, to be fair, but it is one there to just know that the hero image is really critical, and that's, from the click-through point of view. But anyway, the first bucket that we want to talk about, and it might be an obvious one, but we're going to go with it anyway, and that is price. So Seb, talk to us about price, and what are the ways that you can increase conversion through price? And this isn't just like discounting, right? So do you want to share about that?
Yeah. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can stand out on price. So the first is you can have like a slash through price, so like your recommended retail, and then you have a slash through price. Obviously, that's been going around for millennia, but that is one way that you can increase your conversion rate and improve your your click throughs and things onto your product detail page. The next is you can have a how much per unit measure, like a cost per unit measure on your hero image or on the main image. The reason that helps is that obviously, kind of like what you would see in a supermarket, it's like you're getting more bang for your buck in regards to overall volume. That's kind of sometimes a strategic way that CPG brands can kind of stand out doing stuff like that. You could also have things like Prime deals. So obviously, with big tentpole events like Prime coming up, those things are going to impact your conversion rate. Coupons and subscribe and save are also in that bucket. So coupons are good for two reasons. One, they show you a visual, so they help with that click through rate piece. But also, once they do land on the product detail page, you get to be able to clip it, and then that can boost your conversion rate too. Also, sometimes people don't clip it, so you don't actually have to pay all the time the whole value of the coupon when you've got those. So you might only have a 50% redemption rate for coupons. And then you have the subscribe and save piece. That one's obviously really powerful for CPG type brands. So you get repeat purchasing happening, offering that discount. You can afford to pay a lot more for that first purchase because of that lifetime value kind of component that's there. But there are ways that you can improve your listing or your offer, which will help improve your conversion rate.
Yeah. So people will be going, well, okay, no kidding. Price is a key factor, but it's more importantly thinking about the value equation compared to the competitive set that you're in. So it doesn't always have to be the cheapest. In fact, the cheapest might be a problem. People might equate that with poor quality. So, but it is just being aware that these are the things you can do with the slash through, the unit measure side of things. When there are Prime deals on, you might participate in that. You've got coupons you can do, and whether it's percentage off or a dollar amount off, and subscribe and save. So these are all factors. If you're not using any one of those, like go and put that into play. All right. So now the second thing, because what we're really talking about here is the offer, right? And tied into the offer, a key part with Amazon, and in particular in Australia now, it's a huge difference, is delivery. So if a shopper is looking at, they're a Prime member, and they will probably only search by Prime eligible products. So if you are fulfilled by merchant or FBM as a third party seller, you're making life really difficult for yourself. And there's got to be a good reason why. Like if it's big and bulky and everyone in that category is doing FBM, then that's probably you're not going to be impacted as much. But look, with same day delivery now, or certainly in the cities like next day delivery, this is why people are buying on Amazon Australia and why it's really started to take off. They completely changed the mindset and expectations with consumers. And the same in the States. And I was reading a thing the other day with the drones coming, where they are even going to be getting down to 13-minute delivery is what they're looking at. So so you want to be in Amazon's warehouses. Like they've just got this part nailed, and depending on your product, like if people can order it and get it fast, then that's going to massively increase your conversion rate. So it's an obvious one again, but it has to be said because there's still a lot of brands in Australia that aren't using FBA, and the difference is gigantic. I know at one stage I heard a number like 69%. You'll sell 69% more if you're with FBA, but it's probably more than that because that was what they could kind of legitimately say. But in many cases, it's a lot more. If you're FBM, you might not sell anything. Anyway, delivery is one there. Then, so there's a third part here in terms of getting this conversion rate up is social proof. And Seb, do you want to share like the ways that Amazon does social proof on a product display page that will help convert shoppers?
Yep. Yeah. So the most obvious ones are review rating and review count. So that's what star rating you have, and then how many people have left reviews. Then you have things like Amazon's Choice Badge, bestseller badge. People want to buy what other people are buying because it must be good, right? Like you say, okay, I've sold a lot of these, it must be good. They also have things like how many purchases have been made in the past month. Again, that's just talking to that piece of like, a lot of people are purchasing this product. They also have things like how many are left. So if you only have like 5 units left, they'll display that, and so that can create like a sense of urgency and improve that. Now, that's not really a method to improve conversion rate because you do want to have a lot of inventory, but that's something that does pop up. And then they have some other ones as well on that main thing. But the main ones there, and the main one in general, will be your rating. No matter what you have, if you have a poor rating, you will not be able to improve your conversion rate. So a low rating, that low social proof, it'll be really, really uphill battle to improve conversion rate and boost your sales.
Okay,
So
let's dig a little bit on that. So what would be what's a good rating? What's a poor rating? What score is it?
Anything really under 4 is considered a poor rating. Anything over 4.5 is considered a good, and then like between 4.5, is good, dependent on your niche a little bit. Like, so you can be in a really like some niches have really good ratings, like really high ratings. So those ones are going to be over 4.5 is like kind of the benchmark. But between 4 and 4.5 is like average, I would say. Over 4.5 is excellent, and then under 4 is bad.
Yeah, yeah, and certainly under 3.5, and you start to lose the ability to do coupons, and life just gets more difficult with that. So, as a as a minimum, what do we need? Like 10, at least 10 reviews, get into double digits to have that make a difference.
The more reviews you have, the better. 10 is probably the mark that you used for a product launch, where we think that there's less of a consideration on reviews from a customer. So once you get to 10, like people are not sure at 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. Once you get to 10, they become a bit more sure that it's like, no, this product is actually good, assuming they're all positive reviews, of course. And reviews become less of a factor. In that equation.
Certainly in Australia, it's a bit of a weird dynamic in that if you've got products that are also selling on Amazon.com, that those reviews can come across. And I was looking at one the other day with on the phone with a brand, and looking at one of their competitors who had 122,000 reviews. So it's like and then the one next to it's got 30, and you do get a lot of these really disparate gaps and the volume of ratings, and it's pretty like Amazon really has cracked down on how you can get reviews and the authenticity of those. So you do have to be very careful there, and manipulating reviews is not a good idea. And look, some products are more reviewable than others, and there's some things you can do to encourage that from a service point of view, inserts, and or a follow-up email. But it's an interesting dynamic there. So how you've got, so if you are selling in a different country, and look, bring them across if it makes sense. There's sometimes reasons why you need a brand new SKU. So social proof is almost as we're going down here, like 1, 2, and 3, like they really are the almost in that order of ways of the way that the person is shopping. But everyone is different, right? Every buyer will value different things. And so we move on to the fourth bucket that we're calling fast comprehension and clarity. Now, there's lots of ways that we could have described this, but it's when people look at it, like the attention span is quite short. So how are you quickly demonstrating that this product is for them? And so every consumer has questions or concerns that are going on inside their head that need to be answered quickly. And it could be, well, how do I use this product? Is it compatible? How big is it? What's inside of it, etc. So and so the key parts on that, obviously you've got the title, and there's a relevancy piece here as well. Like, actually, it's probably something we should have touched on. Like, relevancy is effectively Amazon's term for conversion. Yeah, like the more relevant it is, the higher the conversion rate, the more relevant it is, and then the more organic you'll get, organic search you'll get as well. And like in episode 7 on this podcast, we had Kirsten Bryce, who's our creative director from Sell Global. She was on the podcast, and going through the way she thinks through design from an image point of view, and the image stack, A+ content, storefront, to increase conversion. And one of the things we have done, and I've mentioned this again, but you really want to get your hands on this if you haven't already, Amazon Design Concepts to turn lookers into buyers. And so in here, we're going through, we've got just a random page here. There's 37 different, we'll go this way, 37 different concepts, examples there, from hero shots all the way through, and also just how to order them as well, and depending on whether it's mobile or desktop, really important factors. So if you go to our GoSellGlobal.com homepage, again, go down the bottom, you'll see that guide there, and you can get a copy of that. But what else in around that comprehension and clarity piece, Seb, that you'd add into the picture?
Yeah, I think for me, the most important piece around comprehension, clarity, and boosting that overall conversion is your hero image. I think it's it's the 80-20 rule. The hero image is going to do a lot of the heavy lifting to help boost that. When we're specifically talking about just content, and so that would be the key part. The other part to this is about communicating key things. So, for example, let's say your product is a premium product and high price. You really need to communicate quickly and fast, like why your product's more expensive than others. If people have to guess or whatnot, they're going to bounce quickly from your listing unless you're a well-known brand. And that kind of brings me to the point around brands. Sometimes big brands think that they're doing a good job on Amazon, but realistically they're not. Their brand is just really lifting them and carrying them. You can ask for a premium, and you can get away with doing a worse job when you don't have when you've got a really strong brand. But if you did actually look at your performance and broke out, how you performed without your brand, like without your branded search and all of that sort of stuff, you'd actually find that you're probably not stacking up versus the category or versus your competition.
Yeah, that is a good heads up. So as we look at the content side, we talked about the image stack, and you can have video in there. Video actually performs really well from explaining things. What about variations on the page where you've got different colors or sizes, etc.? What are your thoughts on that? Because some people go, well, look, you want to have it split out because then you got more kind of visual real estate for people to click on. But then on the page there, what are you noticing, or what's your thoughts around variations and how that helps conversion rate or not?
Yeah, I think the only time you want to split out your variations like that is if you're ranking really well for all of them. So if all of them are doing really, really well, ranking really well by them individually, then bringing them together doesn't make a lot of sense, because you're going to lose that real estate and lose that sales. And generally that only happens in a niche that is not that competitive. Kind of gone are the days. Well, in AU, there's some places where that still happens, but in the US, that's not going to happen. And in more competitive marketplaces, that's definitely not going to happen. So bringing them together would be most of the time what you want to do. And the reason for that is when someone clicks on a listing or the product page, if they see a lot of different variations, they feel like they've shopped around, but they end up just purchasing your product. But they feel like they've done their due diligence a little bit, right? So they've seen a lot of different variations. They kind of want to hit a certain amount of clicks, you could say, where it's like you're not going to click on the first thing and buy the first thing you see, because if you did that, you wouldn't really be able to say, is it a good deal or not a good deal, because you had nothing to compare it to. So if you can bring them into your listing and use your variations and let them shop around on your product detail page, we find that boosts your conversion rate, because someone's just more likely to click on a different size, different color, and then end up converting, rather than going out of your listing because you didn't have the color, the size, or whatever that they wanted.
Yeah, it's a really interesting psychology point, isn't it? It's like they're looking at three options from you versus one from you, and then one from a competitor, and then a third one from another competitor, right? So and then you lose them off the page, and that just gets awkward. Because the other thing as well is A+ content. So if you've got brand registry, which you really want to get, you can be doing your comparison charts, making them up the right way. So you can be looking to upsell, downsell, highlighting accessories that go well with it, and you start to kind of build a story and around this, So it is, and there is a saying that we bring up as well: people buy an emotion and justify with logic, and so you've got to tick off the logic things, that it's compatible and it's this size and this is what's in it. But then there is the aspirational piece as well, particularly for premium products, that it is, showing it in use, and people looking at going, yeah, that would look good in my backyard as well, and that, the food that barbecue is making looks pretty good. I reckon I could have that, and then they look at the brand story, and so they start to connect with you, and so those things are important as well. So you can't ignore that. And if it's just facts, you'll get some people, but you bring in the emotional benefits of buying as well, and aspiration piece, then that definitely bumps the conversion rate as well. So look, that's and there's probably a bit more, but as I said, look, go check out our homepage, gosellglobal.com, and get this guide. And also on the back of that, there's some other video training that we'll be sharing as well, that you'll find really useful. Like, it's actually crazy good. So do make sure you go and do that. So what we talked about here in summarizing, Seb, so we talked about price and that value equation, and how we can, the psychology there of the slash through, or a unit measure there, so people can compare apples with apples. Prime deals, when they come through, obviously conversion rates go up a lot there. Profitability may be an issue. that's another story. But certainly coupons and that visual, like green standing out, or subscribe and save. If you're a vendor, soon to be as a third-party seller in Australia, not quite there yet. That's always been promised, but not quite delivered yet. Then you've got your delivery. You want to be using Amazon's warehouses because it's just fast, and people want fast, free shipping as well. Social proof, the reviews and ratings are really important. And Seb, you mentioned a lot, like, advertising will make the good better and the poor probably worse. Like, if your product isn't up to it, it's hard marketing. You can't outmarket a bad product. So if the reviews are bad, you've got to fix that, and then in some cases you might need to pull it, start again with a new improved version. Like, that's literally what, sometimes you just have to do that. And this is bad saying, I'm going to say it anyway. Like, there's someone heard this a while ago. It's like, it's easier to give birth than to perform a resurrection. So sometimes you cannot resurrect a product that's got 2.5 stars. It's just not going to happen. You're better to just start again. So anyway, so there's social proof there, and those badges come about through the search term. Like, and if you're winning on specific search term, like branded search, for example, you should start to get the Amazon choice badge on that. The more you sell, the more it'll show that you are selling. So that goes with that, and with good advertising, and then great content, so people have fast comprehension and clarity. You keep them on your page. You don't get them bouncing to the competition. So that's the summary there. Any last famous last words, Seb?
No, I just say that, like, out of those ones, the ones that you can control the most, assuming that you're an FBR seller, is obviously price and the fast comprehension piece. Social proof, you have less control over that.
Yeah.
You can't really control bestseller badges, Amazon's choice badges. You can't really control your reviews, other than just getting more orders in the door. You can do some things there, but you have less control over that bucket. So that's why focusing on your price, which you probably already know quite well where that needs to be, and your fast comprehension and clarity, which is your content, is really important. Because 1%, like Hamish said at the beginning, those small percentages, they will give you the ability to compete in a market where you can't compete. So if you're finding that you're running ads and you're like, look, it's just too expensive and I can't get affordable clicks or whatever it is, that's a telltale sign that you need to improve your conversion rate in order for you to be able to compete in that marketplace.
Yeah. No, that's really good. And also, I was just thinking of a little bit of homework for people as well, so the next thing you need to buy, go to amazon.com.au if you're in Australia, or .com, and just be more conscious in your buying. Like, why am I choosing this one? Why am I not choosing that? What have they done there that just hasn't answered my question? Like, just kind of be a student of as you're buying, and just kind of pay attention, and then maybe even, heaven forbid, go and buy your competitor's product and see just what that experience is like. If it's really bad, don't buy it, obviously, but but look at your product listings as if this is hard for people that are so close to the brand, but be as objective as you can in buying your own products, right? And just go, okay, what questions would I be asking here? Am I showing that? But the best way to do that is by buying something you need. Like, if you need a water bottle, go into Amazon and choose a water bottle and kind of unpack, why did I choose that bottle that I ended up going with? And that alone will be really useful. All right.
Yeah,
well, so apart from that homework, the other homework is, if you're in Melbourne or Sydney or in Australia and you want to go to those events, we've got the Amazon ads, 31st of October in Sydney, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And also our Sell Global vendor meetup mastermind events, 24th in Melbourne, 30th in Sydney. So check out the gosellglobal.com homepage there. And we look forward to seeing you at those events. And that's all for this week. So thanks very much, Seb.
Thanks, Hamish.
Appreciate it. Okay.
Cheers.
Thanks everyone for listening, and follow the show, subscribe, comment, like, all those sort of good things. Be much appreciated so more people can pick up on TACOS Tuesday. All the best. Thanks very much.
Thanks.